So, as Anduin defeated the Archon and got back to Zovaal, the jailer says 3 keys remain, and then they will see that death was never meant to be chained. What are these keys? How exactly is death chained? And how many keys does the jailer have now? Is this the first one, or does he already have multiple? What are the 3 remaining ones? I'd like to thank Ridge Wallet for sponsoring this video. They've sent it to me about 6 months ago, and it is amazing. You can put in 12 cards, you can put cash on the side, and it is just so much more practical than a regular wallet. There are over 30 colors and styles, including carbon fiber and burnt titanium. There is a lifetime warranty and a test drive for 45 days, meaning if you don't love it, you can send it back. If you go to ridge.com/Doron, you can get 10% off, as well as free worldwide shipping. Check out the link in the description below. Many people are speculating that there are 5 keys and that the jailer already has 2. Now, this fact was never actually officially confirmed, and we're mainly basing this off of Il'gynneth's whispers back from Legion. However, I gotta admit that it is starting to make a lot of sense, a lot of these whispers from a few years back. First of all, Il'gynneth is in the Emerald Nightmare, and we already know the Emerald Dream is quite connected to Ardenweald, so there could be a possible connection to the Shadowlands. Second, there are a few of his whispers that are super interesting and quite related to this current situation. He says, the boy king serves at the master's table. 3 lies will he offer you. If this is not related to the jailer, I don't know what is. Anduin is a boy king. He serves the jailer, his master, and he needs to get 3 keys. Then Il'gynneth says 5 keys open our way, 5 torches light our path. Additionally, he also says her heart is a crater and we have filled it, which honestly seems like it refers to Sylvanas, so all of these are very relatable to the Shadowlands. This is all of course speculation, but let's go by the fact that there are indeed 5 keys in total out there and that the jailer needs 3 more. Now, at this point, we don't really know what these keys are. We saw that Anduin stabbed Kirestia and then absorbed with his Moorblade what seems like her soul. However, it was confirmed that she did in fact survive the attack, so it probably wasn't her actual soul. It is entirely possible that the Eternal Ones just carried these keys around and that Anduin just stole it. Since Shadowlands, we knew that the Eternal Ones played a role in imprisoning Zovaal. In fact, they refer to him as their brother and as the Banished One. Now, the jailer says in the latest cinematic, death was never meant to be chained. I think this confirms the theory that I mentioned in over a dozen videos over the past few months. As you might have seen, the cosmology chart, it seems like there has been a massive war going on for countless eons between the void and the light, order and disorder, and more than likely, death and life and everything in between. Now, my thoughts are that long ago, death was chaotic and a powerful force in this war, and then it was defeated by someone, more than likely Titan related. Then, order was enforced on it, and really, just think about it, it really makes a lot of sense. It is everything the Titans would do. Do you remember the Ordering of Azeroth? Titans came in, defeated the chaotic old gods and imprisoned them, and then enforced serious order upon Azeroth with fail-safe mechanisms, Titan Watchers, and all the other stuff. Now, let's look at the Shadowlands. Titans, or the first ones that may be related to the Titans, came in, defeated the forces of death, and then ordered it into a neat little package. Oribos, which is very Titan-like, is the center where a machine, the Arbiter, decides where everyone will go, and then there are all these realms with a purpose that empower the prison of the jailer that they had put there. Originally, it was said that the Eternal Ones are the pantheon of death, and that they were Titan-like, but honestly, with their power, or obvious lack thereof, it seems like there are more Titanic Watchers than their actual Titans. However, my personal speculation is that all of them are actually forces of death that converted and then betrayed the jailer who wanted to continue the old ways. I say this because Denathrius is an Eternal One, but he obviously said in that cinematic when he fought Renatal that he wants to bring death back, as in death as a force. So do not get too crazy into tinfoil hat speculations. Let's see why all of this is relevant to the topic at hand. Well, there are 5 Eternal Ones if we count the jailer, and then there is the Arbiter. It is said that the Arbiter is also an Eternal One, but honestly, I doubt it. She really seems to be more like a robot than a sentient being, and is obviously quite different when compared to the others. I doubt the jailer has a key. Well, because, you know, he is imprisoned. So, if we take the 4 Eternal Ones and the Arbiter, there is 5 keys in total, which could confirm our initial theory. Seeing that he needs 3 more, and he already got 1 from the Archon, who could be the other one? In my opinion, either Primus or Denathrius. if we go by the Primus's messages, he says that the Arbiter is the final key and that the Jailer must not reach the Sepulchre. Now, here it gets super interesting. So, there is a huge, very probable theory that Primus is in fact the Runecarver, like that guy that creates the legendaries. Now, if that is the case, the Jailer could have taken his key as he can imprison him, but that could also not be the case. What if the Jailer didn't wipe out the memory of the Runecarver, and in fact Primus did it himself so that the Jailer could never take his key to escape? And what if he hid it in the Sepulchre, which is why he must never reach it? This would 100% be akin to the Primus, as he's supposed to be ever wise, and honestly I doubt he would be so dumb to just fall into the hands of Zovaal and to just provide him the key that he needs. Another theory is that he could have hidden the key somewhere else. However, it is also possible that he did steal it from him, and the reason the Jailer cannot and must not reach the Sepulchre is because the Sepulchre is what the Jailer will open once he gets all the keys. This to me is highly probable. For example, the brokers talk about this place and they refer to it as the Grand Design. This is a huge hint. What is the Machine of Death and the intricate prison of the Jailer if it is not a grand design? Now, on the other side, let's examine the other possible culprit, Sire Denathrius. Does Zovaal have his key or not? I'd say both are possible. The Jailer says no need to free Denathrius as he already served his purpose. This in itself could totally mean that he already has what he needs from him. Otherwise, he would just launch an expedition right away. Or at the same time, it could also mean that he knows that getting his sword in Revendreth is going to be the easiest of the tasks once he starts seriously breaking free, attacking us, and just gaining a ton of power. This would of course really depend on what these keys are. We know that they're not exactly souls because they didn't kill the Archon, but if they're similar to medallions in Revendreth, Denathrius could have offered up his own in order to get more power in return. However, honestly, I doubt that Denathrius would be so dumb to just send his key right away, and I feel like he sent all this anima to free Zovaal, but he could only give him the key once he provides his part of the bargain, which obviously he hasn't because we got there and we defeated Denathrius and just stopped that entire plan. I think there is a huge possibility for a light saving Anduin segue here. As you might know, Sire Denathrius is imprisoned in his sword Remornia and is being watched by Naru, left from the old invasion of Revendreth. If Anduin gets sent here as a vessel, I think it will be highly probable that the light would save him. Obviously, light followed him as it gave him power within the mob at the start of the expansion. Long ago, a light sword, Ashbringer, defeated another agent of the Jailer, so I feel like it could happen once again. This could also be a very interesting way to progress into a future expansion, which I feel like will be light/void related. Regardless, I gotta admit, Blizzard is definitely keeping this expansion quite mysterious. Just speculating about all this stuff is quite entertaining. There are a ton of theories, contradicting and non-contradicting, that all make a lot of sense, and honestly, it could just go either way, but looks like the Jailer has his hands full searching for the 3 remaining keys. Thank you for watching. Check out Will Anduin Be Saved by clicking on the screen, and also check out Doronsmovies Academy for videos on real world history and science. See you next time.